Hi guys, this is Wenzes from Below the Radar Above the System, and now I want to talk to you about those existential questions we ask ourselves of, what is life for? What is the meaning of life? What's my purpose? Where am I supposed to go? And how all those questions kind of arise when we're not getting our needs met. See, I don't know if you've been there, but I've been in situations, if I look back, when I was really happy, when I was really fulfilled, when I felt like a lot of my needs are being met. And I realized in those moments, I'm just present. I'm just in the moment. I enjoy everything and I'm grateful for life. I'm grateful for everything I have. I'm grateful for the sun that's shining, for the breeze that I feel in my face, for every little aspect that is happening in my life around me. And I really appreciate all those things. And when this happens, all those questions of who am I and I'm suffering all my life, and all those questions and all those worries that kind of go through your life are not that present. And I think we kind of forget that when we're in those phases where we have all those, thoughts. And some of us have them for decades or their entire life and think, well, why in the world would I want to, be happy in that kind of area? And you look at other people and you kind of think, well, they're just ignorant. They just don't think about those deep stuffs that I care about. Not understanding that those people, maybe because they're, having that, having gone through life, getting a lot of their needs met because they just ask for them. And they ask for favors or they ask for whatever, that they don't have the urge to ask those things. What I'm trying to say is you should consider that you're not that deep because you're just like deep in general, but in a lot of ways because you also neglect your own emotions or your own needs. Because there's, yes, especially if you're an INFJ, but there are a lot of people who are interested in areas like this that have that as because it's interesting, because they want to understand. And I don't think that this is a sign of depression or a sign of having something bad or so on. But now I'm interested in those things and I use them to better my life and to better the life of others. And there were phases where I kind of got into those situations where I neglected all my needs, where I got to like such a bad point that I was questioning everything. My life didn't make sense. I had no interest. I was back in my cave. I got out of society. I thought, I was fighting for crumbles. I was really, really fighting for crumbles. And to have like that little bitty, I'm giving you everything I have. I'm doing everything to get your needs fulfilled. All I want is for you to give me like a tiny, tiny little bit. And when you're in this kind of situation, in this kind of self-destructive tendency, which we tend to have in us, and if we're in certain situations we get triggered, if we haven't like really accepted the pain and grown out of it, accepted the pain, felt the pain, and let the pain sit until it taught us what we have to learn and what we have to do for ourselves. That part of us, we have to protect ourselves. Once we've learned that, and then kind of we're not satisfied with crumbles. We really want it all. We want to appreciate everything. We want to have a gratitude, and we're not letting anybody put themselves on a pedestal. You shouldn't idealize anything on earth at all. You have no matter who you love, no matter who is in your family, who you appreciate, understand that if you're conscious and you have all those kind of things, that's a person. That's a person like you and me, and they might have achieved a lot in their path or so on, or whatever it is, but that's their path. It's not your path. You have your values and who you want to be and so on. And once you kind of understand that there's nobody to be idealized, that you have those, that you have to fight for, I have my needs and we're all the same and all those things, then you kind of understand that those existential questions, they vanish. And I think a lot of us kind of struggle with this, and they say, I always wonder why, and why are they acting this way and why so on. You're asking those questions because you're not living the life you could give to yourself. That's just what it is. I can tell from my experience, and I'm not saying it's like this for everybody. I'm just saying this is so obvious for me now that I was there. I had all those existential questions. I had all those, understanding why are they not giving me when I'm asking them, and I'm giving them so much and they can't give me that little bit and so on. Not understanding that that person has issues on their own and that's their thing. And it's my problem is that I'm asking them to give me, no, it's not even your fault that you ask them to give you something, as in having your needs fulfilled. But when you understand that they are not giving they're not giving it to you, then it's your task to say, okay, apparently you're not that far, and it's not your task, and you cannot really change them by, begging them to or for pleading with them. The only way you can do it is, working on your own happiness. And the first step is, as I talked in the other video, is to work towards that independence. And that means if there was no intimate relationship in my life, what would I need to do to be as fulfilled as possible? And then you kind of go into this interdependence where you create your life in a way where everything is uplifting and so on. And you kind of, you have connection with people and you appreciate everybody for the differences, and you want others to be happy, but not at your expense, because you're not really using people. You're just kind of like working with them. And if you create that lifestyle and everything, then you really tend to be much more grateful, and you really stop having all those questions that seem like inevitable, that you think are part of who you are. But as I said in the other video, it's a habit, and it's much more a habit because you're so empty. See, all those questions, that depth that goes into an I depth and FI depth to a complete left spectrum that kind of makes all your other functions or everything kind of like slaves to an I. You just kind of like use everything just to go deeper and deeper and deeper. You do that because you are empty, because you haven't filled yourself up, because you haven't made yourself whole again, which you were, because you thought, when I make myself whole, then, I'm not gonna have that feedback that I'm looking for. Not understanding that once you fill yourself up, you won't even need that feedback. And that's the scary part. And that's why so many people kind of make it once they're really pushed to the bottom, where they have no other choice but to like kind of fill themselves up. Because the fear of being abandoned or the fear of being rejected is just so high that we're not taking the necessary step. But once you do that, you kind of really, get that fulfillment, and that fulfillment completely stops you from all those existential questions. Because yes, I've had those moments where I thought, and not moments, those are years, and I've had them as a child, and I have them now, where there's death, then we're all gone. My life doesn't really matter in the grand perspective of things, and in a couple hundred years, it's not like I will matter, it's not like, all those kind of things. And you can look at it from that perspective, or you can look at it as, I'm changing the world. If there's somebody next to me who I can influence positively, who I can really, whose life I can make better. This is the whole thing. I cannot stop poverty on the entire world, but that doesn't mean that you're not changing somebody's world just by helping that one person. And changing your mindset on this, and being grateful that you actually do have a life, that you actually get to be as old as you are when other people are not, that you actually have so much in your life. And once you fill yourself up, all those questions vanish. And then everything becomes easier. I think when we have those questions, we have to understand that we have to train our brain to go somewhere else. And it is a matter of habit, because we all kind of get into self-pity modes, but it's also our task to say, okay, this is it. That's enough. I'm not allowing that in myself. I still have control over my emotions and my mind, and I'm not allowing my mind to stay there. I allow it to myself. I have like a rule of, I'm letting myself beat myself down for like an hour or maybe 90 seconds. Some people have like 90-second rules, but then I get myself back up, because this is where I know it's going to be better. And I'm kind of sad, like I don't want to have direct satisfaction. I want to have long-term satisfaction. This is what I'm doing it for. So never underestimate how much of an impact it can have to have your own needs fulfilled because you require them to be met, and understand that it's from a win-win situation, not from an I win you lose situation, as it was as I talked in the other video. And once you have that, then all those nagging things that make you so miserable, they vanish, because there's no room for that. You're really living then a different life, and it is possible. So work towards that, and it'll help you in your journey over and over again. Thank you for watching, and talk to you soon. Bye.